Some women move through the world as if time itself bends around them. They do not run after love, they do not plead for attention, and they do not fall into the desperate rhythm of proving their worth. Instead, they remain still, radiant in their self-possession, and in that stillness, they create a gravity that no man forgets. This kind of woman is not defined by indifference. She feels deeply, she loves fiercely, but she refuses to make her value dependent on another's recognition. She understands the ancient truth Jung hinted at, that the unconscious craves what it cannot control. And so, by refusing to chase, she awakens the deepest currents in a man's psyche. He may not even know why he keeps thinking of her, why her silence lingers louder than the words of others, why her absence tastes sharper than presence itself. But she knows, mystery is born not from playing games, but from living in alignment with her own worth. Men are accustomed to pursuit, to women bending and breaking themselves in order to be chosen. But the woman who does not chase breaks that pattern. She mirrors back his own unspoken desires, for freedom, for the unattainable, for the union he cannot command. In this mirror, he sees not just her, but his own hunger. It gnaws at him in the night, it whispers in his solitude, it grows stronger in the silence she leaves behind. He cannot forget her, because forgetting her would mean forgetting himself, and the self never allows erasure. There is a danger in her calm refusal. For the man who thrives on validation, her absence cuts like a wound. For the man who fears abandonment, her stillness awakens the childhood shadows he buried. For the man who believes power rests in conquest, her distance reveals how powerless he truly is. And yet, he cannot escape her image, because she represents not just a woman, but an archetype, the untouchable anima that Jung spoke of, the eternal feminine that stirs the soul. To him, she becomes a paradox. She is both near and unreachable, simple yet unfathomable, present in memory though absent in reality. And the paradox is what keeps her alive in his mind long after others fade. For obsession is not born in excess, it is born in scarcity. And she gives him nothing, no drama, no explanation, no chase, only silence. Her power does not lie in cruelty, but in clarity. She does not withdraw to punish, she withdraws because she refuses to dilute herself. Her self-worth is not negotiable, and her love cannot be begged for. This is why she is unforgettable. Not because she tries to be, but because her refusal to chase forces him into the only pursuit that matters, the pursuit of himself. And so, long after she has gone, long after her calm footsteps have vanished from his life, he will still feel her. In every silence, in every failed attempt to fill the void, in every restless night where his ego crumbles, she will remain. Not as a woman he lost, but as the mirror of everything within him that he could not control. To Jung, the anima was not merely a woman, it was the bridge to the unconscious, the vessel of his own unlived depths, the key to his soul's forgotten territory. And when a man meets a woman who embodies his anima, he does not simply see her, he sees himself refracted through her presence. She becomes a symbol, a projection, a mirror of his hidden longing. And this is why her calm, her stillness, her refusal to bend, strikes him with a force he cannot explain. The anima is mystery incarnate. She does not operate by reason alone but by instinct, intuition, and feeling, all the qualities a man often suppresses within himself. When she stands before him, silent, composed, radiant without striving, she awakens his repressed feminine energy. He may believe he desires her, but what he truly desires is union with those abandoned parts of himself. His hunger for her is not just attraction, but the psyche's yearning for wholeness. And yet, the ego resists. The ego seeks control, certainty, dominance. It wants to possess what the soul only wishes to experience. And so, when he meets a woman who embodies his anima, the tension begins. He projects onto her fantasies of devotion, fears of betrayal, illusions of perfection. She becomes not herself in his eyes, but the canvas of his inner world. This is why her silence terrifies him. When she no longer plays into his projections, when she no longer feeds the illusions he casts upon her, he is forced to confront the truth. She is not his possession, but his mirror. And what he sees in that mirror is unbearable. He sees his own insecurities reflected in her distance. He sees his childhood wounds stirred by her refusal to console him. He sees his fragility in her strength, his chaos in her calm, his dependence in her detachment. She embodies the anima, and in that embodiment, she forces him to face the shadow. This is why Jung spoke of individuation, the process by which a man integrates his projections and faces the parts of himself he once disowned. The anima, embodied in a woman of dangerous calm, is the catalyst. She does not hand him comfort, she hands him truth. She does not soothe his ego, she wounds it, forcing it to crumble so that something deeper may arise. Yet to him, it feels like obsession. He mistakes the call of individuation for the call of desire. He chases her, believing he must possess her to feel whole, never realizing that what he seeks is already within. The more he reaches, the further she drifts, because her power does not exist in being possessed, but in remaining sovereign. Her presence ignites his longing, her absence magnifies it. But the lesson she carries is clear: no man finds peace by conquering the anima outside himself. He must turn inward. He must face the shadow, embrace the silence, and learn to carry within himself the same calm that unravels him in her. And so she stands, not as a woman who withholds love, but as the archetype who awakens him to his unfinished work. Her dangerous calm is not a game, but a mirror. And in that mirror lies the truth he fears most: the woman he cannot control is simply the soul he cannot yet face. Men are trained to recognize conflict. They know how to fight against anger, how to defend against accusations, how to resist the storms of emotion that rage toward them. Anger, in its fire, feels familiar, it justifies retaliation, it keeps the ego intact, it allows him to believe he is still in control. But calm is unfamiliar. Calm disarms him in ways fury never could. Because calm carries no edges, no sparks, no noise to grasp onto. It moves like water, silent, persistent, and impossible to resist. When she is calm, she does not argue. She does not plead. She does not descend into the chaos he expects. And this absence of reaction unsettles him more than any words could. For in her composure, he sees a reflection of something he cannot manipulate: her sovereignty. She belongs to herself in that moment, entirely. And this belonging shatters the illusion that he holds any power over her. Her serenity becomes the mirror of his inner chaos. Every wound he tried to bury begins to surface in her silence. He searches for anger in her, because anger could reassure him that she still cares, that she is still entangled in his web. But instead, she offers him stillness. And in that stillness, he feels himself unravel. Jung wrote that what we resist in others is often a reflection of what we have not faced within ourselves. Her calm becomes that mirror. His ego resists the quiet because within it lies a void, the childhood fear of abandonment, the shame of not being enough, the guilt of not being loved unconditionally. Her silence does not accuse him of these things. It simply allows them to rise from his unconscious, leaving him face to face with his own shadow. The paradox is this: her serenity is not an act of power over him, but of power within herself. She does not remain calm to control him, but to refuse being controlled. She holds her ground in dignity, and in doing so, she reveals how little ground he truly stands upon. He lashes out, not because of what she has done, but because of what she refuses to do, lose herself in his chaos. And so he unravels, not at her hands, but at his own. Her composure unmasks him. Her calmness dismantles the performance of strength he hides behind. The louder his defenses grow, the quieter she becomes. And the quieter she becomes, the more his ego trembles. It is not her storm that breaks him, but her stillness. It is not her anger that destroys his control, but her refusal to give him the fuel of reaction. She stands like an unmoved sea, and he, desperate for turbulence, drowns in the silence. What he does not yet understand is that her composure is the fruit of her shadow work. She has met her own chaos, and thus, she does not fear his. She has faced her storms, and thus, she can stand in serenity. This is why she is untouchable. This is why her calm becomes the weapon he cannot defend against. Because it is not a weapon at all, it is truth. When a man faces her calm, what stirs within him is not just discomfort, but memory. Not memory in the conscious sense, but memory buried in the body, written into the nervous system, etched into the unconscious. Her silence awakens wounds older than the relationship itself. It calls forth the shadows of childhood, where the seeds of longing, fear, and fragility were first sown. Every man carries within him the ache of being unseen. The infant's cry that went unanswered. The child's laughter overlooked. The boy's vulnerability dismissed. These moments do not vanish, they sink into the unconscious, forming the core of the shadow. And when she meets him with composure instead of chaos, she does not create these wounds, she reactivates them. Her stillness, her refusal to reassure, becomes the echo of those early experiences. He feels, perhaps without words, the same primal terror: what if I am not enough? What if I am not loved? This is why her calm feels unbearable. It is not the surface silence that torments him, but the depth it awakens within. He begins to project these wounds onto her. He believes her distance is cruelty, her serenity is punishment, her silence is abandonment. But in truth, she has not inflicted anything. She has merely mirrored back what already lived within him. The haunting suspicion of inadequacy begins to rise. It whispers in his ear as she turns away. It gnaws at him when she refuses to collapse into drama. His ego scrambles to protect itself. He may grow angry, accusing her of coldness. He may beg, attempting to pull from her the validation he craves. Or he may withdraw, trying to control by absence what he cannot control by force. Yet beneath every reaction lies the same wound: the desperate desire to be enough, the terror of invisibility, the fear of being forgotten. For her, this calm is liberation. She no longer bears the burden of his unresolved shadows. She knows she cannot mother his inner child or heal his fractured ego. She does not withhold to wound him, but to remain whole within herself. She has chosen detachment, not as cruelty, but as truth. And here is the paradox: the very wound her calm awakens is the path to his growth. Jung spoke of individuation as the process of becoming whole through confrontation with the unconscious. When her silence stirs his primal fears, she is, in essence, handing him the mirror of individuation. She invites him, without words, to face the abandonment he has carried since childhood, to confront the terror he has always tried to silence, to embrace the truth that no external validation can ever fill the inner void. This is why he loses control. Because what he feels in her calm is not merely her detachment, but the ghost of every absence he has ever known. And what terrifies him most is not her silence, but the reflection it forces upon him: that perhaps, the battle he is fighting is not with her, but with himself. When he looks into her calm, he does not find a woman to conquer, he finds a mirror that does not flinch. In that reflection, the carefully woven fabric of his illusions begins to unravel thread by thread. What he thought was her, the adoring gaze, the constant availability, the unyielding softness, was never her at all. It was his projection, the dream he painted upon her so he could avoid seeing himself. And when she refuses to play her part, when her silence interrupts his fantasy, the mask shatters. This is the moment Jung spoke of when he warned that the anima is both muse and destroyer. She inspires him with longing, but when she no longer carries his illusions, she destroys the scaffolding of his ego. He is forced to look into the abyss of himself, and the abyss looks back. The shadow stirs. The shadow is not darkness alone, it is everything he denied, rejected, buried. Every fear, every insecurity, every hunger he could not bear to admit finds its shape in her detachment. He wanted her to soothe those hidden fractures, to pour her energy into mending what he never dared to touch. But when she no longer plays savior, he is left bare. She does not collapse into his storms. She does not soften his edges. She does not fear his distance, because she has faced her own. And here lies the dangerous paradox: her refusal becomes the catalyst for his awakening. For the first time, he sees that his control is nothing but an illusion. He cannot bend her calm into chaos. He cannot manipulate her silence into surrender. He cannot command her soul, because her soul belongs to herself. And so, his identity, built on dominance, on pursuit, on conquest, falters. It is not that she humiliates him, nor that she rejects him outright. What destabilizes him is her freedom. A woman who does not fear his absence is a woman he cannot bind. A woman who does not chase is a woman he cannot define. She stands as a sovereign force, and his ego, accustomed to being the center, trembles in her orbit. This confrontation is not truly with her, but with the emptiness inside himself. The silence she embodies echoes the silence within him that he has long refused to face. The distance she is unafraid of mirrors the loneliness he has always carried but hidden behind noise. The independence she claims reminds him of the wholeness he has not yet built within. And so, what feels like losing control of her is, in truth, losing control of himself. She awakens the truth that he is not whole, that he has been leaning on projection to fill his void, that he has mistaken possession for love. The ego, fragile and threatened, begins to crumble under the weight of this realization. But she does not flinch. She does not carry his collapse. She stands as the archetype of the woman untamed, the anima unclaimed, the mirror unveiled, the mystery intact. In this confrontation, he discovers the most dangerous truth of all, that the calm he cannot control is not hers alone. It is the calm of the self calling him inward, demanding he face his own shadow, or lose himself trying to bind hers.